rather than being seen as core to the history of whiteness and our social formation. Here too then in South Africa, ongoing analytics of the current historical moment also illuminate the extent to which the ideology of racial tolerance that Slavoj Žižek refers to, that was inaugurated through processes such as the TRC and its attendant discourses of reconciliation and rainbow nationalism, continues to be exposed for the race-class illusions that it has and continues to contribute to. We have to be careful to avoid the pitfalls of analytic hubris, where the simplest explanations are turned to, which do not jeopardize our own historical intellectual projects, as these are sites of despair that are also ironically the sites of refuge for unreflexive intellectuals. So I want to perhaps talk a little bit about race in South Africa and this notion that actually a repetition has left us at a place of an impasse or a malaise around race. So I talk here about the race making of and resistance to segregation in South Africa because I think there's a historical set of exemplars that are quite useful here. Perhaps understandably, given our history of racialized excess with all of its accoutrements under apartheid, there remains a deeply binary preoccupation with race at many levels in South Africa at present. This includes questions pertaining to whether we should continue to use the racial labels for redress in the service of more equitable resource distribution as ways of thinking about social relations, as central to election politics, to rethink the post-apartheid distributional regime in the context of employment equity or affirmative action, black economic empowerment, etc., etc. The list is endless. This preoccupation has often left many South Africans feeling a malaise about the apparent impasse in moving beyond the fixity of such binaries in post-apartheid South Africa. But as indicated, I will argue that such fixities are themselves constructions that belie the complicated nature of the race subject, both historically and in contemporary social reality. To return to the Freudian metaphor referred to earlier on, these instantiations may appear as forms of repetition compulsion, or as a return of the repressed, so to speak. This is by no means a new position, as has been argued by the likes of David Goldberg in his book The Threat of Race, in how the anti-racial project has collapsed in on itself in the service of reinscribing racial hierarchies, and to a lesser extent can also be read